that probably Trump, through his policy by dealing with Russia, will try to create a wedge between Russia and China.
I will not be surprised if Americans do that, Mr. Rahul Puri. They have done this early too.
And further, you're going to put a lot of pressure on the North Korean regime.
Liberal countries and their hypocrisy. You remember how your father and grandfather shown them their place, right?
Third thing, he will going to pressurize Iran more. Okay, so more pressure he will going to put on Iran, and he will try to put more severe sanctions on Iran. This is by and large a consensus.
Do you agree with the predictions of Mr. Puri?
أنا أعتقد أنه هناك مشاريع مميزة في الشرق الأوسط.
Now, US under Trump will going to expect more from the European countries to contribute more in the NATO budgets.
This is seriously not something we are ready for. Seriously, I wish Mr. Rahul Puri is wrong for, and so on.
So, India-US alignment is bound to increase, and as said by Prime Minister Modi also, the next century will going to be of AI. It is not artificial intelligence, it's America-India. So, on these lines, I'd see there's a lot of consensus prevails between India and US.
Rahul's analysis is point blank. Even I was not this much clear about my opinions on geopolitics.
I disagree with all the opinions of Donald Trump except his views on Mr. Rahul Puri.
Hello sir, welcome back to the podcast. And one of the important events that have taken place is the outcome of the US presidential elections. And belying all the hopes of Trump coming back to power when he was unceremoniously removed last time, and the term of Joe Biden, no one would have anticipated this kind of victory in the most controversial elections that have happened. According to Raja Mohan, this has been the election which was marked by the lowest the politics in US has been seen in the last 50 years. The kind of conversation that were made, personal attacks, and then on top of that, obviously, Trump hit by a bullet. So it was unlike US presidential elections, where even the violence was also involved. And all the polls, just like Indian polls, they failed to predict the kind of margin that Trump was ahead of Kamala Harris. So now that Donald Trump is set to become the next president, the question is, number one, considering his thought process, considering his last term, 4 years, considering the huge influence of technocrats and billionaires like Elon Musk, how do you see the impact of Donald Trump's presidency on, number one, global geopolitics, and secondly, how do you think the relationship between India and US evolve for the next 4 years? So, but first, let's talk about the impact of Trump on geopolitics.
About this election, you forgot to mention one more thing: midterm change, in between the change of the presidential candidates. After the first presidential debate between Biden and Trump.
Correct.
Okay, and huge hopes that Kamala Harris, she will easily able to sail through. But you said that no one predicted. It is a very generic statement to make.
Okay.
Means probably you will not believe. I don't want to say this. I should not have said this. I should not say this in the podcast. Now, but when I was traveling somewhere, I met few US citizens, and they all have a very positive opinion towards President Trump. So,
positive assessment of his last...
his positive assessment of his last tenure.
Wow.
They said, we are very clear, we are going to vote for Trump. So there was people who was like the ardent supporter of Trump. So his politics was already able to make inroads, and it impacted the people of US. Okay. The kind of support he has been able to get from the black population also, this has also amazed men.
Shocked, yeah.
Okay, so first thing is this. Now, Trump, the kind of personality he is, the kind of decisions he has taken last time, and the way many scholars blame him as a narcissist, it is very difficult to exactly predict what kind of decisions he will going to take. So my assessment, what I'm going to say right now in this podcast is exactly not my opinion. These are the opinions of many scholars, that is the Indian and the Western scholars and the Western scholars, uh, reading their work,
Right.
I'll try to come up with my own assessment that how Trump will going to deal with the countries of the world and how it will going to have its impact on India. So as you first said that how Trump 2.0 will going to impact the world politics. Every time it is the world media who keeps a close eye on the US elections because US is the leader. It is the US who has established the present world order. So first thing is that main thing is how Trump will going to deal with Russia, how Trump will going to deal with Iran,
China.
what kind of policy he will going to pursue in West Asia, how he will going to deal with Russia-Ukraine crisis, and
His outlook towards NATO.
it's his outlook towards NATO and his outlook towards China, how he is going to deal with China. Now, it is very difficult to say that what kind of policy he is going to adopt to deal with Russia. Whether he will, we cannot say it right now, that whether he will going to more aggressively support Ukraine or whether he will going to appease Putin by allowing him to have a bit of territory in Ukraine and try to end the war. Now, recently, M.K. Narayanan, he has written this that Narayanan said something and then C. Rajamohan has also said the same, that probably Trump through his policy by dealing with Russia will try to create a wedge between Russia and China. This is a very interesting aspect. Now, Russia and China a decade before announced that their ties goes beyond the limit. So right now, as per the leader, that is Xi Jinping and Putin, they are pursuing a tie beyond the limit. Means they are ready to support each other on any issue.
So there is no limit on
There is no limit on this, and the kind of support Russia has got from Beijing on the issue of Ukraine, this has increased Russia's dependency also. From Beijing, Russia has got on the issue of Ukraine, it has also increased Russia's dependency on China also. But if we go in the history, there is always Russia and the Chinese leaders, or the Soviet and the Chinese leaders were never able to work together. Around 70s, it was the Chinese communist leaders who agreed to have an alliance with US. And with the help of Chinese communist leaders, they contained Soviet communism.
Try to control.
So probably this time Trump will try to bring Russia on its side to keep a check on the communist leaders of China. So we are going to see whether who will going to fall first towards because US still hold a lot of attraction. So whom US will going to charm, whether Putin or Xi, time will tell. But for sure Trump in this tenure will going to put a wedge in between Xi Jinping and Putin.
Correct.
So he will probably try to appease Russia by allowing Putin to have a bit of territory in Ukraine and try to end the Russia-Ukraine war.
Right.
But we cannot say this by conviction. Probably the kind of leader he is, he will start supporting more aggressively NATO or more aggressively the Ukrainian forces to keep fighting with Russia. This can also be a possibility. But more possibility is, as what I said, he will try to end the war in Ukraine.
Right.
This is what my first analysis is.
Correct.
Second, in West Asia, for sure, this is a bit of surety that he will pressurize Israel to end its conflict in Gaza and end its it has been a year-long conflict. So he will going to pressurize Israel to end its military action in Gaza. Third thing, he will going to pressurize Iran more. Okay, so more pressure he will going to put on Iran, and he will try to put more severe sanctions on Iran. This is by and large a consensus. Fourth thing, he will going to pressurize NATO a lot this time. Last time he also criticized Western Europe that they need to pay more for their own security.
They need to take care of
Yes,
themselves.
they need to take care of
US
themselves.
will not always be there.
It's not like this. US will not support NATO, but US will expect more. Now US under Trump will going to expect more from the European countries to contribute more in the NATO budgets. So on this, he will going to take a firm stand. And now, there is no doubt in this that how he is going to deal with China. For sure, he will going to contain China. He will try to reduce the trade deficit which prevails with China.
Right.
Impose high tariffs on Chinese goods.
Right.
Okay, and he will going to build a more stronger alliance in Asia Pacific to contain China. So on this aspect, it is very clear how he is going to deal with China, and further he is going to put a lot of pressure on the North Korean regime. So how he will deal with Russia, how he will deal with Israel, Iran, we can put a question mark on that, but how he will going to deal with the Western European countries, with China and North Korea?
That remains to be seen.
It is very clear how he is going to deal with them, but that remains to be seen how he is going to deal with Putin. And Israel and Iran.
Correct. Now coming back to our prime concern, how India and US relations, they are expected to evolve in the next 4 years.
No doubt in this that US and India will going to come closer under the Trump presidency. The recent statement he has given has got the statement on the violence against the Hindu minorities in Bangladesh has created a lot of positive sentiment in India. So first thing, he is ready to take a strong stand on Islamic fundamentalism. Okay, so there is no doubt in that.
Correct.
It was Trump only who for the first time criticized Pakistan openly, that Pakistan is the home of terror. And it was he who put severe sanctions on Pakistan.
So that outlook is totally in convergence with the current government.
With the current government. Second thing, a close rapport which prevails between the Prime Minister Modi and Trump. Okay.
We have seen a lot of times the personal relationship also drives the relationship between the countries.
No one can deny that.
Yes.
So the way he will going to deal with Islamic fundamentalism, the way he is critical towards Pakistan. Second, the personal rapport which prevails between the two leaders. Under Trump, for sure, our defense ties are going to be more strong with US. Okay. No second thought in that our defense ties will going to be more strong. US will going to emerge as a major defense partner of India this time under Trump. Okay, US will not going to show inhibitions to share technology with India also. So we can clearly see political and strategic alignment with US under Trump. Only thing is that what kind of economic policy US will going to pursue towards India. Though till date he has not given as such any aggressive statement, but for sure he said that India needs to do more. We are running high trade deficit with India. The way his stand on the visa issues, he wants to create more jobs for the US people within US, domestic pressure because he has given a lot of promises.
So he's obviously the one who is going to prioritize the domestic American economy.
Yes.
And so if India's interests come in conflict with the aim of creating domestic economy in US, then obviously he will go against India's Indian interests.
And it was he only who has gone for GPS withdrawal, that is the special trade preferences for India.
That were given to India.
So, but the way he will going to deal with China, it will going to be beneficial for India because it can shift manufacturing to India. So this is what my prediction is, that how the new presidential this tenure of him will going to impact the US engagement with the world and with India, and there is no doubt in this that the US-India ties will going to be more stronger, and especially both consider China as a major challenge, and as China is a common challenge for both. So India-US alignment is bound to increase, and as said by Prime Minister Modi also, the next century will going to be of AI. It is not artificial intelligence, it's America-India. So on these things, on these lines, I see there's a lot of consensus prevails between India and US.
Right, sir. And because this is such an important issue as of now, and obviously interviews are going to start in 10 days from now, obviously this becomes one of the important questions from current affairs as to how the Trump presidency will impact India-US relation.
Yes. So ample things are being written on this by the scholars, and I hope those who are clear with their mails, they are reading their newspapers. So my advice to all those who have cleared their mails and right now looking forward to how to prepare for interview for such topics, the best thing is just follow the newspapers, keep yourself relaxed, read your newspapers, and do not miss your newspapers, okay? Because you're going to build your opinions from the opinions of these scholars. Do not make a one-sided opinion. Try to have a balanced opinion. Reading these articles, and like I said, this can also be a question in the board can also ask this question to any of the aspirant. So how you see the world will going to change under the leadership of the new US President Trump?
Right.
So you see that so what they will look forward to is that you are not, because we cannot predict that how he will going to, what kind of policies he will frame. But at least by understanding all the present dimensions, we should be in a position to answer in such a balanced way. He will, like I said, that he will try to pressurize Israel. He will try to end the war in Ukraine. Probably by appeasing Putin. He will try to put a wedge in between Russia and China, and for sure he will contain China, and that will going to be in the interest of India.
Right.
So I guess in these few words and few lines, you should end your answer rather than going into any kind of
long paragraphs of answer.
that is main. So rather than going into any kind of controversy, do not give any controversial statements. Okay, just try to say in few words and try to complete your answer by saying this. It is difficult to predict what kind of policies he will going to frame, but for sure he will try to contain China. As during his electoral speeches also, he was very clear that I need more jobs for the people of US.
Right.
So for sure he will contain China, and that will be beneficial for India.
Right, sir. Correct. So, right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We will meet again, and I should take a promise from you that as soon as an event happens, instead of focusing on your extracurricular activities like gym and swimming and badminton, you will spare time to record podcast.
Who said I am doing all this?
I
What is
know.
the source of your information? You all have wrong sources of information. These days I am doing nothing. I am always busy in reading books.
Yeah.
And if you need promise, I also need few promises that you will not going to release the unedited podcast.
Okay, sir.
If you will do this, probably
This will be the last podcast.
not the last, but then probably I have to think something else.
Okay, all right. So you have seen Rahul sir clearly threatening me in front of the camera, just like behaving like Donald Trump and Putin, because he reads about them. Probably he is turning like them, turning out to be like them. Anyways, besides the point that stay tuned on our channel, follow us on all the social media, especially YouTube. Download our app. There is a lot that you can get as a form of free content that we are providing, sir. So what are the free things that we are giving out to students?
It's not like free. It is just for their whatever way we can help them in preparing. In whatever way we can help them so that they can prepare.
Good cop and bad cop.
It's not about that. It's about like I don't like the word free, freebies and all.
Okay, so let me rephrase my statement. There is a lot of material that will help the students. That okay, so this is how you become big
help
teacher.
the student. It is for them.
Yeah,
which they
there's
can
a lot
use.
we are trying to create an ecosystem which will
We are
go
trying
a
to
long
balance.
way in
We are trying to
help.
balance capitalism and socialism. No?
Yeah.
It's democratic socialism.
Correct.
Okay.
So
So in that
Yes.
sense, what sources we are providing to the students are, one, we have a Telegram group on which there's an answer, there's a question being given and they can write their answers and you'll get the feedback from our test series team.
right.
Second thing, we will release a perspective magazine every month, which they can access on our app. There will be a discussion of that magazine, 10 to 15 minutes of discussion. The video they can have on the YouTube, and other than this, there's these podcasts and all.
No, there's one more thing.
There's one more thing.
Yes, the
And
solution
that-
to the previous year.
Solution to the previous year papers, and those solutions those solutions are also on the app.
App. Yeah. So there is a separate folder of free content. There is a
Change the name of that folder.
Okay. So there is, if you download our app on Android or on iPhone, you will see a free content folder where you will see all these things which Rahul sir has explained but has never seen so far. All the best to all of you. Stay tuned for more such updates.